Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't know about this until Gavin sent the screenshot in the group chat. But anyway, so Gavin hits me up and he's like, bro, holy shit. Anna tweeted out our video of her, of us, kind of calling out the insane propaganda. And it was nuts, too, because there's no way for her to deny that she's a total NIMBY. She loves to fearmonger about crime. She loves to act like the world's on fire because, oh my gosh, we had bail reform, or there are these progressives that are calling to defund the police and, abolish prisons and all kinds of stuff. So like clockwork, the usual suspects trash me and defend the notion that butchers who literally dismember corpses to cover up a murder should enjoy release with no bail. Absolute lunatics. Here's what's crazy, Gavin. Anna's never heard of a principle before. A lot of people on the left, I'm happy to introduce it to her. I actually, this is a good learning opportunity. Anna, we know you watch the show. Thank you for that. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, but we do appreciate you sharing to social media. Here's the thing about a principle, right? Let's take a less incendiary one right now, like the First Amendment, right? I believe in the First Amendment. Now, I might look at a dumbass like you on Twitter and say, damn, I really don't like what she's saying. That sucks. But I have this idea that this principle notion that people should be able to say what they believe. I also have this principled notion that your wealth should not define your justice before the law, that your accumulative assets, your ancestral lineage, your ability to come into contact with physical wealth should, make you subject to different penalties, different level of persecution, a different level of subjugation. Essentially what I'm saying, Anna, is I oppose a two-tiered justice system, one that makes it easier for the rich to stay out of jail and one that makes it easier to put poor people into jail. Now, bear with me. That must be asinine, an Orange County liberal, but it's true. This is my deeply held belief. So that's why, even though some people do horrible things, like I believe I think the man that she's referencing is the guy that was on Rogan, right? And he gets out of prison and he's like a reform activist. And, he goes in immediately after that, he like butchers some guy to death in his apartment. Guess what? I'm not pro butchering. Okay. I don't think you should go out there and do homicide, right? It's crazy.
What?
Earth-shattering news. Gavin and I are going to debate this later, but just put a pin in that for a second.
Yeah, dude. I thought we were the pro butcher and dismember podcast. Come on, bro.
Benny the butcher. Anyway. Yeah, she's also just lying. All violent crime is bail eligible in NYC. And I'm not saying that as an activist. I'm saying that as a criminal attorney in New York City and a national expert on bail reform. 100%. 100%. We're actually going to play some of your TikTok later, Ole. I hope that's cool. Where you kind of walk everybody through the, line by line of this. But anyway, long story short, bail is bullshit because it's essentially like, what did we talk about yesterday? I don't know if it's in the clip that Gavin put out, but what did we talk about yesterday? If you're going to ask him, if you're going to say that a man like Donald Trump can pay $450 million or whatever the hell it is, $450 million, something astronomical, more wealth than almost anybody on planet Earth will ever see in their entire life. And I'm talking about maybe 1,000 people alive right now could get that kind of money together in the entire world, right? An astronomical sum. And you're going to say, well, he's really rich, so he could pay that. And it's like, well, what the So because he's really rich, he's not going to be held accountable to the same way as somebody who, committed those same crimes but was poor. And you want to tell me that you're a leftist? You want to tell me that you believe in equality? You want to tell me that you stand with marginalized and oppressed people who are going to be 100% more victimized by this shit? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And for them to come out here and pretend that they're the, the progressive network, we're the, the true rational lefties. And it's like, no, you're not. You're just like a NIMBY liberal. That's it. You have Hillary Clinton style politics now. You just need to fess up to it. And it's crazy. You made the excellent point on Twitter last night that all the people that are coming to her defense, they're all just right wingers. They're all just people telling her to take the red pill because that's what her position would lead you to believe she's on the precipice for, right? Like she is waiting and waiting and wait. She's like, oh, I just can't. She's basically waiting on her opportunity to do the rave Dubin dance, right? The left left me, man. I'm just trying to talk about my ideas. I'm sorry. I care about safety. The left just loves looting and raping and pillaging, and they don't believe in cops.
Yeah, dude, this is some hilarious molding from Anna Kasparian. For one, I mean, when I saw she initially tweeted this video out, I was like, oh, did we get something wrong? Did we mess up? Did we look stupid in this video? I was like, just editing this one. I was like, I think this was a good clip. I put it out, but then I was like, oh shit, did she get us? I watched the clip. It's a pure banger. It's a straight classic Vanguard banger, bro. And Anna Kasparian straight up just posted her own L's here, posted one of the best videos Zach and I have ever done. Specifically, you were on fire, bro. Just taking TYT to task in a glorious way. So I was watching that last night, just like, oh shit. Like, thank you for posting this. Got a bunch of attention from this clip, blew us up on YouTube numbers wise.
On YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, Zach, her comment section is filled with right wingers. I'm gonna have to switch over to another tab real quick. Basically, just a ton of people being like, "Come on, Anna. Come on, Anna. Just take it. Just take the red pill." And honestly, I kind of agree. Maybe it is time for Anna Kasparian to just take it, to just take the red pill. Take the mask off already, Anna, because this is some embarrassing shit. I mean, I didn't even really think that we were on Anna's radar. She spent the last, several weeks and months going after smaller lefty channels, people like Lance from the Surfs and her former colleague over at TYT, Benny. But the Vanguard, I mean, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, sis. You're just like searching your own name on YouTube and watching us roast you as you drink wine or whatever at like 9 p.m. in the evening. Like, this is so pathetic. And yeah, it has to be embarrassing to post something like this. And then just see a bunch of people like Ian Miles Chong.
LOL, yeah. Welcome to the right. LOL, bro. Imagine. Yeah, dude, I know. This is what's crazy, bro. We live in her brain rent free, and it's so funny. I'm like, bro, I'm a bartender. At 2:30 today, I am gonna go clock in with my little punch in number at the local bar, and I'm gonna shake martinis until about 1 a.m. Okay, and this lady is gonna drive home in her little Porsche and be thinking about me right here when I have absolutely. But it's true. I do use her for comedy a lot, and a lot of times we like to use her as a vehicle to, like, she's the perfect caricature of somebody who was not sincerely on the left, like an opportunist, right? And that's one of the things that's crazy. That's one of the hardest lessons that I learned when we kind of went through the like popularity of Bernie Sanders, right? Because Gavin and I will tell you, when we were coming up like 18 years old, everybody was a Bernie bro. Everybody wanted all these policies. Everybody, like in our regular lives, like in Kansas City. And my sister was a hater. She was an Elizabeth Warren worker in 2020, and she was like, "None of these people care about politics, Zachary. They don't care about getting legislation passed. They just want to be cool." And I was like, "No, you're full of shit. All these this is a new generation. Like, we're tearing the shit down, whatever, blah blah." But she was 100% right. The fad died out, and now you get to really see who was about this shit, who really cares about playing the long game, who's interested in participating in the actual, Sisyphusian task. Sometimes it feels like of rolling the boulder up the hill. Anyway, that's hilarious that Ian Miles Chong is out here like patting Anna Kasparian on the back because of how bad we burned her. And everybody knows that she was critiquing us from the right. They're all just like, oh yeah, the actual threat of extremism comes from the left. See, this is how you know you're in good company. And that got 800 favorites almost. Like, this is hilarious. You just can't pretend to be on the left anymore, and that's what Gavin and I won't allow. Like, if Anna wants to go and make right-wing content, we always say this, we don't give a shit about roasting right-wingers, because that's like playing wiffle ball, right? If I want to play wiffle ball, I'll just start taking shots at people in my own comment section, right? If I want to, you know what I mean? But I want to have conversations with other leftists. I want to hold other leftists accountable, and at this point it just feels like she's not one of us at all, dude. She doesn't hold a single position that would distinguish her from somebody like, Jen Psaki on MSNBC.
Yeah, honestly, that's true. That's kind of true. She's just like, I'm kind of edgy. I smoke weed sometimes, so I'm hip and cool. But in reality, yeah, she's just a bougie Karen, 100%. Happy to have you on the right, Anna. LOL. Basically, no support from the left, by the way. Straight up, no support from the left. The other day, she was retweeting Actual Justice Warrior. We talked about that super tough on crime, loser, propagandist, right winger. That's all she can do now. And I don't think she's going to have on, Olayemi Lauren to debate this. Obviously not us, but, I think that's what she should do. She should have someone like Olay on to actually have a discussion if she's interested in proving her point. Clearly, all she's interested in is gaining affirmation
we already
from her
saw how
right-wing
that went
followers.
when Ole went on
Right.
TYT.
Right. She got absolutely destroyed, which is why she basically stopped interacting with people on the left almost entirely. I mean, besides her own co-host and the occasional interview she does with the Lefty channel, it's almost nothing but right-wingers at this point who she knows aren't going to challenge her on this bullshit because she knows how it would go. We see it on Twitter. We see it online. And honestly, the embarrassing thing about all this is I feel like Anna really thought that this kind of pivot would result in some sort of newfound popularity or growth for the Young Turks. Take a look at this. Here's the clip in which she's fear-mongering about the bail reform. Anna Kasparian flips out after Governor defends release of alleged butchers. It didn't really do that well. It got 42,000 views. I mean, that's nowhere near as many views as like their Jonathan Glazer video or this one about Jared Kushner. Like, it's not like this pivot is really being massively rewarded with some influx of new viewership or some influx of new supporters to the channel. If anything, it kind of seems like a bit of a belly flop. And now she's just out here eating L's, posting her L's when it comes to the tweet from last night. And it's just embarrassing.
Is
it's
this
like,
TYT main channel?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is horrible view count. Like, go down a little bit. Like, I mean, what are we gonna say that their average view count is? Maybe 80K a video. Does that sound average? Like, because they have some that go a little crazy and they get into the like hundreds. It's an 80K view average. How much is the payoff of like an 80K video in YouTube ad revenue, Gavin? Like $120, $130 max, something like that. That's terrible. I mean, think about the overhead that these guys are trying to pay. I mean, like, I will tell you, the pay, unless they have a better deal, unless they're getting paid more per click than Gavin and I are. We were always curious. We're like, how much does 100K video pay? Like, not shit. You'll get paid like after taxes. Like, Gavin and I were like splitting $125. Like, not that much, right? So you're like, how are you trying to sustain this like huge operation? And they're bleeding money, obviously. That's why Cenk is trying to do these outlandish, crazy things to, gain attention for himself, to try and kickstart it again. Right? And it's actually just working in reverse. He's actually just making the problem backwards. His solution was like in Ferris Bueller, where they put the car on blocks and they're just going to drive it backwards to take the miles off the odometer. That's basically what they're doing right now. They're just adding to their own suffering. They're adding to their own misery. Anyway. It's crazy too. We have to get into the what was it that dude Adam from Adam and Cinch came after you and talk about an absolute faceplant. You want to talk about a belly flop? Oh my gosh. People who live on the coast, I'm sorry, some of you guys are cool, but y'all think that you live like the rest of us are living in like 1950s or some shit, like, oh, you don't live in New York or LA. What's it like to be barefoot and marry your cousins, right? Like, you live in the Midwest where crime is not existent. Bro's never heard of Chicago before.
What the Chicago is probably the most popular city to fearmonger about the crime.
Bro, during our lifetime, Gavin, the 4 of the biggest murder capitals in America have all been in the Midwest: Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago, and Kansas City. Okay, we have like literally Kansas City has like, and this isn't clout, guys. This is like at all flex. This is a huge problem in our city, and it's usually people who are under 24 who are the victims of gun violence, and it's really sad, and it's very like neighborhood specific, and of course that goes back to like segregation and all kinds of policing and policies and shit like that. So this isn't a flex, but just like this guy for trying to undermine our. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how America works. You've never left your own liberal stupid bubble. And as Gavin puts out, Kansas City, Missouri ranks 8 in list of cities with the highest homicide rate. But what do you think goes on in places like Kansas City? Kansas City was an abandoned ass town, okay, with like an urban culture that was just completely left to die, to rot away for like 25 years, and nobody invested a dime downtown. I remember I came down. This is how hard up Kansas City was. My dad had a pager store, okay, where they would fix cell phones and pagers. It was like my dad and my grandpa's business. Tech 9 was trying to sell CDs outside of that motherfucker. Does it sound like this was a land of opportunities? Okay, no. So it's not like it was a yellow brick road. Hey, what's up, everybody? Like, no, this wasn't the Wizard of Oz, okay? Crazy. So anyway, this guy says, you live in the Midwest where crime is non-existent. It's easy to support soft on crime policies from the safety of small town America. Bro, if you don't live in LA or New York, it's small town America. Where you haven't had a murder for 40 years and your police force is 4 dudes in a meter maid for one asshole. We have done some of the most we've done a lot of ground on the ground activism in Kansas City. Not we as in me and Gavin, but the good people that we cheerlead for. We don't have local control of our police department, so we have a bunch of rich assholes in Jefferson City who make sure that our cops get paid as a priority before we do all with any other bit of tax money in the city. It's honestly, the KCPD has a horrible reputation. In fact, the KCKPD has a horrible reputation where you guys might remember the KC Defender. Shout out to Ryan Sorrell, one of the first interviews that we did back in the early days of the Vanguard when he was still with Black Rainbow. Now he runs the KC Defender. Because our police force is so shitty here, because crime is so bad here, there was a serial killer that was abducting Black women at night. And going on for years and years and keeping them and torturing them. Guys, look up the Kansas City serial killer KC Defender. It is an absolutely insane story. They would not go to sleep on this beat. They kept growing. They kept grinding. The Kansas City Star, which is the paper of record here. It's a horseshit rag sheet, by the way, if you're curious about it. It's so totally corporate. But anyway, they kept dismissing it. They would put out exactly what the police chief was saying, oh, it's not a big deal. Boom. They finally catch this asshole. And it was insane. So anyway, that missed me with this small town shit.
Yeah.
Okay. We just won our third Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Okay. You'll never know what that's like.
Yeah. And we're still reeling as a community, we're still reeling from the slaughter that took place at the Super Bowl parade. You know what I'm saying? It was just a couple weeks ago where 15 people got lit up at the Union Station Kansas City Chiefs parade. To say that Kansas City is some sanctuary away from violence is absolute insanity. And yeah, this notion that only the coast, if you don't live in NYC or LA, then you just don't know what's going on. Let's look at the most violent cities actually in the entire country: St. Louis, Detroit, Michigan, Baltimore, Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Rockford, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio. You have to get all the way to Stockton, California, number 9 to even reach
Stockton
real
is
coastal.
not LA, bro. Stockton, that's right outside.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, dude, that's a rough name. That, you know what I'm saying? That's an abandoned part of California. Abandoned. Sorry, a lot of people live there. That's where the Diaz brothers are from. I'm just saying, that's not LA, bro. When these guys are talking about this shit, they live in Sylmar.
Yeah, exactly. And as I tweeted, Kansas City was the most 8th most violent city in 2023 or something. Unfortunately, the homicide rate just keeps going up. But yeah, to say that our commentary is any way informed by some sort of privilege, we're just living in some immaculate suburban fantasy land or something away from all of the horrors of the real world. Oh, of course we should defund the police because every time we go outside, it's just nothing but green grass and golden sun rays. LOL. Not the case. Just such an ignorant comment to say. I couldn't believe when I saw that shit.